Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I created this banner design, this backdrop banner design from scratch right here in Photoshop. But I'm not just going to be showing you how I made the design. I'm actually going to show you the ideation process, how I went from the brief to the final design, right? Because someone asked me to do a video about this, so that's why I'm actually going to do it, right? So without talking too much, let's get right into the video, right? So the first thing I'm going to show you is what I think about anytime I'm approaching a design. And this particular guideline is not mine originally. I actually got it from a designer called Sammyarts, and I'm going to show you his account basically on X, and he's on X and on Instagram, right? So he's someone that I follow, especially on X, and he drops a lot of insightful content, and I think you guys should also follow him as well. So he's the one that basically dropped this guideline on X. So I don't have the link to the original tweet. He dropped it I think last year, but I was able to create this guideline based on the tweet that he posted. So I'm going to walk you guys through it. So the first thing I ask myself is, what is the message of the design? Alright, so what's the main theme of design? What is the design saying to the target audience? And what message are we trying to pass with this design? Okay, so what message are we trying to pass? So I'm going to show you the brief. This is the brief for the backdrop banner design. So what message are we trying to pass? Well, we're just basically trying to pass a congratulatory message, right? So we are trying to let people know that there's a reason to celebrate, like there's a reason to congratulate my clients because they just got their PhD. Okay, so that's the message we're trying to pass. And also it's a backdrop banner, so it's actually less of passing a message and more of using it to snap pictures and stuff like that, but at the same time we're still passing a message. All right, so the next question is, where will this design be shown? So you need to consider the layout of the design. The layout is determined by the place where the design will be posted, and by extension it determines the design style and how you arrange your elements, right? So if we go back to the brief, where would this design be shown? The design is going to be printed out. Okay, it's not for social media, it's not going to be shown on Instagram and the rest of them. It's going to be printed out. So having that in mind, that will help me know, number one, what size am I using. All right, so the size I use for this is I think 6 by 4 feet. All right, that was the size of the banner. And then it's also let me know how I'm going to position the elements, because when I'm designing I'll be thinking of, okay, what would this look like when it's printed out? Okay, how big would this text be if I make it big on my screen? How big will it be when it is printed out? Okay, so these are the things you put into consideration when you think of where the design will be posted. Okay, so the third thing you think of is, what's the purpose of this design? What are we trying to achieve with this design? What is your goal? So what we are trying to achieve is, we're trying to achieve a backdrop banner. We are trying to create a space where people can take memorable photos that they can post online, and those photos will let other people that are viewing it know what event or occasion that they went for. All right, so that's basically what we're trying to achieve. Who is the target audience? So for this design we don't have a target audience because it's a backdrop banner. This is also something you're meant to think of when you're making a design. For example, if you're designing for a food brand, you're supposed to think, who is going to see this design and how would they react to this design? Okay, so who are they? How do they think? Put yourself in their shoes and understand their thought process. Defining the target audience is going to help you create a design that will attract them, and this is very true. Okay, so knowing who you're designing for will help you design in such a way that when those people see the design, they will be attracted to it. All right, so now how do we mood board? So the first thing is to paraphrase the design in a single sentence. What this does is that it strips off unnecessary parts of the design brief and shows you the main message of the brief in a single sentence. You get to paraphrase in your own words, and this makes the design yours. Okay, so this is something that I do when I'm doing a design that is not a backdrop banner, right? So when the client gives me a brief, I try to paraphrase that brief in a single sentence. So I try to get the main message of the design. All right, so I'm sorry about that background noise if you can hear it. All right, we just had rain, and there's still a bit of thunder. All right, so in case you're hearing it. So the next thing you determine is the color psychology. Okay, so you need to determine the colors that will best fit the message of the design. What emotions do you want to instill in the target audience? What would attract them easily? Example: red for urgency, yellow for excitement, blue for trust. Okay, so when it comes to color psychology, sometimes the brands that I work with already have their color palette, so I don't need to think too much. But when the brands don't have a color palette, then I begin to go and do my research. I go and check for brands in similar industries and what type of colors that they use, and so on and so forth. For this particular backdrop banner, I used red for the design because there is a bit of red in the color of the client, the picture that was sent to me. All right, so that's why I use red. So moving on, another reason for that red as well is that red is very attractive. It draws a lot of attention. So the moment you look at the backdrop banner, it's going to draw your attention, and then it's going to prompt you to read the information that is on it. Okay, and when people use it to take pictures, it also look very nice. So that's the reason for the color red. So number three is to determine the choice of typography. So this aspect focuses on the fonts that you should use. Writing out the fonts might help you save time and energy once you actually get your piece, and this is very true. Knowing what fonts that you're going to use is going to save you a whole lot of time before you start designing. Okay, one major problem that we have is that we don't choose the font on time, so when you start designing, you start wasting unnecessary time. All right, so what I do is I go online and I look for the fonts that I'm going to use for that design before I even start designing. Now for this particular brief, while looking at the flyer, I already knew what type of font I wanted. So I knew that I'm going to use like a um cursive font for this congratulations Dr. Oloma, and then the rest of the font is going to be a sans serif. So I use poppins for the rest, but for this congratulations I use the sans serif called last Christmas. And as usual, all the assets I use for this design will be made available in the description box below, so you can download them and design along with me. So after you determine the color and the font, the typography, the next thing is to determine the design keywords. So they said this part is very crucial. The design keywords are the emotions you want to pass through the design. It is the vibe that you want to pass. So it determines the mood and the feel of your design using words. So some examples are joy, excitement, trust, clean, expressive, loud, and bold. Okay, so this is something that I also do. So for this particular design, some of the keywords are joy, because it's a joyful moment, right? Someone just got their PhD, so it's a joyful moment. Bold, because it's going to be a big bold banner. Another keyword is loud, expressive, and clean. Right, so me writing out those keywords will help me know that okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve with this design. So having that at the back of my mind, the decisions I'm going to be making while designing, those keywords will help guide me. Okay, I will not make certain decisions because I know that making this decision would make the design to not fulfill those keywords. I don't know if I'm making sense. For example, if I want my design to be joyful, I can't be using dull colors. I don't know if you understand. If I want my design to be bold, then my texts are going to be legible. My images are going to be big. Okay, so because of those keywords I've outlined, it's going to guide the actions and decisions I'm going to take while I'm designing. All right, so number five is look for inspirational design. Now this is something I do 100% of the time. I look for inspirational designs. Okay, so these are designs that communicates the mood of the project you want to work on, the colors, the arrangement, the choice of typography, the vibe. Your inspirational design should give you a glimpse of what your design would look like. So I usually use Pinterest for this. So I go into Pinterest and I look for similar designs in that industry that I'm trying to do, right? So for this design, I went to Pinterest and I look for backdrop banners. So it must not necessarily be a backdrop banner for the specific type of event you're looking for, but as far as it gives you the type of vibe that you're meant to design for, it's going to help you. So after that, you look for images. Number six is source for images that visually represent the message. Okay, so if you're working on a social media design, then you will be needing a stock photo. This aspect determines the kind of stock photos that will be appropriate for your project. Is the model supposed to laugh, cry, or look surprised? Okay, so for this backdrop banner, I'm not going to source for any images because the client has already given me the image that they want on it, which is their own personal image, right? But if you're working on a social media design or any type of design, right, you have to go and source for the images that will make sense for that design. Okay, the images that will make sense for that design. So that is very important to do. And then number 7, choose the techniques that you use to achieve the design. So what type of techniques do you want to use? Do you want to make the headline bold? Do you want light effect or glass effect? Any effect that you think will make sense for that design, you can actually plan for it ahead before you even start the design. Take note that all these steps, these are things you think of and do before you've even opened your software. Before you open Photoshop or whatever software you use, these are what goes through your mind, right? And then the last step is sketch the design. So you don't have to be an artist to pull this off. You can just use squares. The idea is to create an image of what your design will look like, and this part should be heavily influenced by Inspirational Designs. All right, so I'm going to show you the image of the sketch that I made. Please don't laugh at it, and don't laugh at my handwriting. Right, so I just had the idea, like the image should be here, the text should be here. So that's all I had. And when I started designing, I improved upon that sketch. Okay, so your sketch does not have to be set in stone. Okay, sometimes people feel like whatever they sketch should be the final thing, like whatever you sketch, that's how it to be. But no, your sketch is like a stepping stone. Right, so when you start designing, you might end up making some changes to that initial sketch, but that sketch actually helps you and gives you a guide as to what you're going to accomplish. Right, so these are the steps that I use when I am trying to go from ideation to execution. Right, so now that I've shown you how we achieve this, the next thing I'm going to do is to do the actual design. Right, so as usual, all the assets are made available here, and we're just going to start the design. So first thing is to create a new file, and I'm going to make sure that this is set on inches. The width is going to be 6, height is going to be 4. Traditionally the resolution should be 300 since this is to be printed out, but for the sake of this tutorial I'll leave it at 72, and I'll click on create. Okay, so we have our space here. This is our canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create the background by clicking on this. I'm going to solid color and changing the background to a dark red. Right, so you can see the hex code for the red color, and you click on OK. Then I'm going to create a new layer. With that new layer created, I'll select my brush tool and make sure that is a soft round brush. Make sure your opacity and flow is 100. Then dab once, and then change your blending mode to overlay. Right, so we have this. Then the next thing I'll do is to bring in the logo, drag it, I'll place it there. I'll change the logo to soft lights, and then I'll reduce the fill. I'll reduce the fill to 14. I'll leave it at 14. I'll select the logo, I'll select everything, press Ctrl G, and then I'll call it BG, which is background. So we have our background set. Next thing to do is to bring in my client's picture. I'm not going to provide you guys with my client's picture, but I'll provide you with the other assets. Okay, so I'll bring in my client's picture. I'll move it a bit to the right. Then I'll bring in the frames. Alright, so I'm going to hide the silver frame first of all. I'll select my rectangle tool and create a rectangle like this. Okay, I'll change to make sure that rectangle is red because that's the color I'm using. Then I'll bring in the second image of my client and I'll increase the size like this. Then I'll clip it to that rectangle. So you can see that her image is now clipped into the rectangle. Okay, then I'll unhide. I'll select all three, the frame, the rectangle, and the image, and I'll turn it into a group. Then I'll duplicate that group by pressing Ctrl J. Then this silver frame, I'll take it to the top. I'll press Ctrl T to transform it. Then I'll try to increase it like this. I'll leave it. then I'll place it inside the second group, then I'll delete the original frame, right? So I have both of them. I'll select both groups, press Ctrl T, reduce the size like this. Then so you can see that we have two frames. So I'll select the golden one, which is group 1, press Ctrl T, I'll rotate it a bit. I'll carry her main image to the top, so it will be on top of both frames. So I'll select the golden frame, I'll increase the size, and I'll place it here. Select the silver frame, rotate it, increase the size, place it here as well. Then I'll move her image in a bit, right? So you can see we have our image placed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'll bring in the logo again, and then I'll reduce the size. I'll place it here at the top left. Then I'll go and select my text, which is the name of the university. I'll place the text in. It will be Poppins regular. Press Ctrl T to transform to reduce the size. I'll place it somewhere here. Right, so we have the name of the university. Then the next thing, I'll copy her name. Select my text tool again. This time around, we're going to change the font. So Last Christmas, like I said, all the assets are available in the description box. So change the font to Last Christmas. And I'll place it here, make sure it's aligned properly. Then I'll select my line tool and I'll create a line. And then I'll go and select the last set of text. Select the last set of text, select my text tool, paste it in, change it back to Poppins regular, or rather Poppins semi-bold, and then reduce the size. Excuse me, I'll go back to that line and I'll change the fill color to red to white. Okay, so we have our text. Now the last thing I'll do is, if you notice, our image is cut at the bottom a bit, so I'll kind of bring in this decorative ribbon to see if there's a way to cover it like this. Okay, now it is covered, so I'm going to select the topmost layer. I'll press Ctrl Shift Alt E. Ctrl Shift Alt E to create a snapshot of all the layers. Convert that layer to a smart object, and then go to Filter and go to Camera Raw Filter. Now in Camera Raw Filter, I'll increase the contrast. I'm not going to do much. Increase contrast, increase texture, grain, reduce vignette a bit, and then I'll increase my sharpening. Click on OK, and we're done editing it, right? So that's basically how I created this backdrop banner right here in Photoshop. So I hope you understood how I took you through from the ideation process down to the execution process. Okay, and you can use this for any type of design. You can use that. It will help you generate ideas. It will help you think better as a designer, right? It's not just about making the design look aesthetic. Like, why are you making all those decisions? And I believe you guys understand the decisions in this flyer, to understand why we chose this font, the color, and so on and so forth, right? So I hope you learned something in this video, and if you did, kindly let me know what that was in the comment section. This video is already too long, that's why I'm rushing. And of course, subscribe to this channel because more amazing content is going to be dropped, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.